This programme is brought to you by Taom Billiards.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunty, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
And a big game, of course, tonight. Simon Fitzsimmons against Shaun Storry. Two players who are known pretty well on the tour. And in terms of shootouts, Simon Fitzsimmons is one to watch.
Yeah, Simon, he's made 3 finals, but what he did in the grand final, you know, turning the tables on Jordan Shepherd in the final 2.5 minutes to steal that final away from him, so Simon would start with the edge. This is Shaun's first taste of a shootout event, but he has won big tournaments in the past. He is an IPA professional, and he's a very, very talented ball player. Well,
Simon caught up with both of them earlier.
Simon, great to have you here at the Super Series. First time we're going to see you on Freesports since the grand final at Christmas time. Have you had time to reflect on that and the impressive way that you won?
Yeah, obviously it was a little bit special. Special way to win, obviously, the grand final. Lost in, obviously, 2 previous finals to Jordan, who's obviously dominated the event. So it was great to finish like that and get a big win.
Shaun, great to have you here at the Super Series. Before we get on to tonight, I want to get a feel for how you got into the sport.
So we used to go down the pub with my dad when I was 13 years old, and they'd play a bit of pool, play a bit of killer, a bit of winner stays on, and I loved it really. Anything with a ball when I was young, I enjoyed playing, so pool got me hooked.
Before we talk about tonight and your matchup with Shaun, I want to get your thoughts on how you got into the game and what's drawing you to pool.
Well, I started off as a snooker player really from about 4 or 5 years old, and then I never really played pool till I was about 16. Which is quite a late age to be getting into pool really, but I managed to take to it pretty quickly, and then I went on to represent England under 18s and progressed that way.
You're more known perhaps as a money match player for a number of years. Do you think the World Championship runner-up performance sort of almost announced yourself on the world stage? Yeah,
because at the time, just before that, I was pretty much playing like one every couple of months, big money games. But yeah, regarding like competing at top level, that was definitely announcing myself on the big stage.
Have you set yourself any goals moving forward?
Obviously, with what's happened, obviously the last 3 months it's been difficult with events being cancelled. But I turned pro this year for the first time, so I was aiming to try and break the top 32 barrier this year. But obviously with what's happened and we're unsure on events, I'm not really too sure what's going to be left for the end of the season.
Where are you with your game? You had a big win in the Supreme Series, you've won an IPA amateur event. Where do you sort of see yourself in the game at the moment?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like I've improved a lot lately. I've changed my cue, which people probably do know me. I've changed my cue quite a few times, but this one pretty much aims how I aim, so a lot more comfortable. So thanks to Josh Brown who sold it to me. I tried to get bite off of him a year ago and he just said, I'm never selling it, it's a lovely cue. And I said, well, if you ever do, then give me a call. And luckily he called me and I said, well, I'm alright with a cue now, I'm happy with the one I've got, but I'll try it. And it was instant, and I haven't picked the old one up since. So in fact, I gave it to Chris Day and I think he used it while he was here. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Have you set yourself any goals for the future in the sport?
The dream is to be world champion or win the world championships at some point. But again, reality says that you need a lot of luck to do that and a lot of ability. So I'll keep trying, but that's the only real goal for me.
And your thoughts on your opponent tonight? Shaun, a first-year professional as well?
Yeah, we have played before. He beat me actually, but he's a very, very good player. He kind of came from nowhere really as well. Announced himself in a big tournament and won that with a very good field. And since then he's done very well. Like you say, he's turned professional. So I want to have my hands full.
And thoughts on the shootout, the Super Series we have tonight? First taste of this version of the game, the 30 seconds, the 15 seconds. How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I really like it actually. Managed to get a bit of practicing with Mason Penny, so sort of just made the shot clock on my phone and we Chromecasted it to his TV. So it's just, the other one had to time keep, but it still gives you an idea of how quick that 15-second shot clock is. So I've played on the 30 seconds before and that felt quick at the time, but yeah, we've been doing fine, just had a few knocks, so it's been good.
Do you think the fact that you've done so well in these sort of events in the past will give you a bit of an edge tonight?
Maybe not an edge, but obviously having played in all of them since the off, obviously I'm going to know what to expect with the shot clock and everything, so I should be able to adjust to that pretty quickly straight away. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him.
I wish you all the best tonight.
Cheers, Simon, thank you.
And thoughts on your opponent tonight, an ever-present in the shootout events?
Yeah, I mean that clearance he did was brilliant in the grand finals. I've played him once before in one of those. That to be fair, that players event I won the first one. I played Simon in the semis. I think he was favourite for the tournament. So it was nice that I edged him there. But I've not played him otherwise. But he's a great player. I love watching him play, and yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game.
Well, I love that Shaun held on to that memory. Certainly a fond one for him, but a great game in the offing here, Simon, between two really, really good players. Let's focus a little bit on Simon Fitzsimmons. We've obviously seen him in 3 finals in the shootout. What makes him such a formidable shootout player, as we see the players lag off here?
I think it just comes down to he's a big match player. He's shown, you know, he started his career playing money matches, which are, you know, very pressure-filled. He's gone and done very, very well at the IPA World Championships, making the final. And then he was a natural fit in the shootout. He plays with good pace. He's a big-time player. He's got the big shots. He can recover the situation, and he's never out of a match, and that has led him to 3 finals.
Well, we are almost ready to go here on Free Sports. Simon Fitzsimmons against Shaun Storry is next. Well, welcome back to the Super Series here on Free Sports, and we're feeling fruity this evening. We are giving you a real big treat. But Simon, who's the man who's going to be feeling tickety-boo at the end of this one? This is a big game.
It's a very tough game to call. On paper, it's very, very even. You would say Simon starts as the slight favourite because of what he's done in this form of the game, but Shaun, he's a big match player as well. He's won big tournaments. This could go either way. It could be another 5 sets.
Oh, we love the sound of that. If it's anything like what we've seen already in the Super Series, we are in for an absolute treat. Let's take a look at the first break of the match. Ball right at the end of it means Simon Fitzsimmons will be at the table. And decent-ish looking spread here for the man from Radcliffe in Manchester. Yellow's the colour set, and too difficult to see why. He's gone straight after his most difficult ball.
Difficult thing about this shot now is landing on his next yellow nicely. It's hard to land nicely because if he just drops this yellow in, he'll be thin on the yellow to the bottom right corner and he'll be firing into the red. So does he try and get the white back out into more open play?
Pointing out as well the measures that have been utilised by the whole team here in the West Midlands to be able to have this competition even progressing through in the current state of things here in the UK, and what is still a lockdown scenario. Both players have their temperature checked as soon as they arrive to the facility here in the West Mids. We'll be encouraging social distancing as best as possible. We're going to merry-go-round format on the table. Only one player in the room at one time. And the referee, Don Evans, is not one to be messed with. When she tells you to do something, you tend to do it. Me and Simon can vouch for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has the power if she feels it's necessary just to put an extra couple of seconds on the shot clock if there's a chance of her having to take longer to walk around the opposite side of the table and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the black ball rules in play, we'll touch on those in a minute, but the 30-second shot clock, which has been mentioned quite a bit at the early going, that's a cute little shot from Simon there. So he set up his final yellow. Yeah, it's 30 seconds at the start of the half-hour countdown, 15 seconds in action from the 15-minute mark. It's fast, it's furious, and that is a fine shot. So when he lined it up from the main overhead shot here, I didn't think it was too difficult, the shot into the middle, but that camera angle really did show just how precise Simon had to be there. This is altogether far more easier. And Simon Fitzsimmons takes the first frame of the first set. Excellent start. And a reminder of our rules here in the Super Series. Black ball rules, the most basic of which a ball must hit the cushion after contact. A foul introduces not 2 shots, but a free shot and then a visit. A combination shot, aka a skill shot, is allowed. If you pot your own ball, you can pot a ball of any other colour. Shootout rules mean a golden break is possible. Pot the black and the break, you will win the frame. Golden duck, pot the black and the white, you lose the frame. We are best of 5 sets, race to 5 frames per set.
Frame, Shaun Storry to break.
We've got half an hour countdown on every single set. If we have a victor before the half hour, that's absolutely fine, but it does introduce the concept of tying a set. In that event, both players will get half a point. As we see Shaun Storry's first break, and he's broken really, really well there.
Lots of power through the pack with that break, and another interesting thing to keep an eye on is the black. Watch the movement he gets on the black here. It's flying up the table, and we saw both players have had a little practice on the table this afternoon, and we know that Shaun had a golden break in practice. Something to keep an eye on as this match progresses, although he's overhit his first positional shot by some distance.
I think what was interesting to note, particularly from the golden break that he did hit in practice, he's going to play safety here just to take the pocket after erring early on. But he's well in control of this frame now. This is not easy for Simon. But the thing we noticed with Shaun's golden break that he did hit in practice, the ball went into the top pocket, which we've not seen. We've seen quite a few golden breaks, probably, I think we're up to 5 or 6 now in the course of the tournament. Not had one all the way up to the top pocket. Oh, I tell you what, Simon's unlucky. That's a really good effort.
More often than not, you'll see the golden break going in the centre. And it's easier to get the golden break from the cut break than it is from the front ball break, but Shaun managing to get it in motion and up towards the top end of the table once again. Good news for Simon with that shot is he's just moved the red into an awkward position. He did have it to the top corner before, now it doesn't.
He's trying to deal with that problem and has done so very, very nicely. Beautiful work. This is the break again. Just have a look at the black here. Goes all the way up to the top of the table, helped along by getting a couple of kicks. But what's he doing there specifically to try and get the black on the move? Because all players are trying different things.
There is nothing you can do. I mean, the cut break will get the black in motion more often than not because it's making the core of the pack move quicker. You're almost getting into the core of the pack quicker because you're going in on the second ball. But yeah, it's just trying to hit the pack with as much power as you can and hope that you can get that black in motion. There is no rhyme or reason, no spot on the table, although the players will be looking for one.
Yeah, it's an inexact science. Oh, now then. Well, Shaun did really well to get himself in a good position there after a loose positional shot earlier on. But despite that being a long pot, as it were, on this table, that's one he really will feel he should have made.
Possibly one because it's early in the match. Not quite settled yet. It was a tough pot, but still expected him to make it.
These are now pretty well set for Simon. He does, however, have a bit of a problem on the black, because even if he wanted to double it, the pocket that he would double it into is blocked by the red on the right side of the table. So he's got to get thinking here. He's probably going to have to move it.
Possibly. He may look to move it. The problem if he wants to land on it to the top corner, and you can see from his overhead that the red almost makes it a big pocket. Not quite. It depends on how he plays it down the rail. But the red that's nearest the centre pocket kind of blocks his position onto it. He doesn't have a huge amount of room, so he has to be very precise with his last positional shot. But I think he is going to move it. He does have the perfect angle off this yellow just to nudge it into open play. Choosing to avoid it.
Just take a look at that camera angle there. It does look a big pocket, but I have a feeling that the red is just far away enough from the pocket that if he sort of goes halfway house, he can miss the red and also miss the pot as well. He left himself a little bit short here.
I think he will still take it on. This is one of those where I think you need to make sure that you're playing it off the red rather than clean. I think if the red was, touching that top cushion, it would be a lot easier. Yeah, he's purposely played it off the red to try and make it, and he had the line, he just didn't have the pace, and that was to do with his position onto the black. He didn't get the white far enough down the table, which made it hard to inject enough pace to get the black in. Obvious for Shaun that the red nearest the black is the problem ball. If he wanted to, he can play a skill shot, which is red onto the black. Black goes in, the red follows it in. That would be a legal shot. And with the black being to the side of the pocket, it isn't as easy as I've made it sound. And I think he possibly was trying to come up the table for the red into the top right corner, and has come up just a little bit short, so now he will have to take that skill shot on.
This is tough, and this is all or nothing as well. The black's going down, the red has to follow it, otherwise it's Simon Fitzsimmons' frame. Played it really well, Shaun Storry. Well done. It's 1-1.
Brilliant shot. What an excellent execution of the skill shot from Shaun. That was tough early in the match, and because the black was to the side of the pocket, it just made it that little bit trickier.
Had to play it perfectly, and did. Reminder once again of the rules. We are on a 30-minute set clock. Scores are tied at the end of that 30 minutes. We will give half points to the players, which does introduce the idea of a black ball shootout. Sudden death tiebreak if the scores are tied at the end of 5 sets. We've not had one yet. I would be surprised if we don't have a tie by the end of this tournament. You just see there the white circle next to the cue ball there of Simon is the shootout spot. Our players will take the black ball on in a shootout scenario. And Simon there, whilst breaking pretty big, has come up dry. And Shaun here with a chance to capitalise and go in front after getting his first frame on the board in frame number 2. Go straight after reds.
The problem with the shot he's just played, he's knocked his hardest ball out, but he wasn't guaranteed to land nicely on his next shot, and that's exactly what's happened. Couple of, well, he's probably just got the one tricky option, and that's the red he moved.
Once again, the jaws of the pocket deny Shaun Storry. And it could be a costly one. These yellows actually, now the red has moved out the traffic, as it were, actually look pretty nice.
Often the problem, you take on one colour set, and this time he's only potted one ball, but potting that one ball has opened yellows up. And Simon he wants to play the yellow at the bottom end of the table and then get up top for the rest, but it's probably just a little bit too thin a cutback. So this will come down to landing nicely when he comes down the table, but there is plenty of room.
Yeah, you heard the beep there for the first time this evening as the shot clock ticked its way down towards 0. We play on a 15-second shot clock, you might hear a few more of those beeps. It is really quite rapid. Reminder, a foul is only called for a shot clock violation if the cue ball is not hit before the clock strikes 0. Ball doesn't have to go down before 0, the cue ball must be hit. Regular shootout viewers are more than familiar now with this set of rules, but it is relatively different from the game that one or two of you might be used to down your local once upon a time. Who knows, you might see a surge in shootout games at the Nag's Head whenever that's allowed to open in a few months.
It is very fast and furious. It'll be enjoyable for the people at home to play. Just slightly out of position all of a sudden in this visit, and that's okay. I'm not sure it's exactly as played. Well, I say it's okay. He's on the yellow to the top right, but the white is going down the table, and he cannot get on the yellow to the top left. When you look from the overhead, white is going down natural angles towards the centre pocket, the bottom of the screen. You can see he's only got a small gap to land on the yellow at the top of the table, so there really isn't much room at all.
And that will not do for Simon Fitzsimmons.
One free shot, one visit. Time running.
It's a simple pot and a bad mistake to miss the pot, but it was putting all his energy and all his concentration into the path of the white. He had to go down the bottom of the table, back up, try and hit a very small gap. Still surprised to see him miss the pot. Giving the foul away. It's probably end of frame. Although Shaun still needs to work his way through the visit.
Yeah, this is as open as it gets for Shaun. He's looked a little bit iffy, shall we say, on a couple of pots. He's not quite settled. I think while Simon's made a couple of errors, they've been positional. Generally, his potting's been pretty clean, but we've seen a couple of errors from Shaun early on here. And this might just settle him down. A really clean dishing opportunity.
Straight's not ideal. If he just drops it in, he'd have a bad angle on the red to the middle. If he comes back, he's going across the line of perfect position. No, he was just enough angle to be able to come up to a good angle. It should be simple from here.
Easy as you like from Shaun Storry. This should be 2-1. There it is. 1-0 down, 2-1 up in the first set here. This is what Shaun Storry is up against. The bouncer from Radcliffe in Manchester. He is the Shootout Grand Final Champion for last year. We will probably never forget that Grand Final performance from Simon Fitzsimmons. It really was that special. He was a World Championship finalist in 2017. This is a player with a bit of pedigree. So we tried to ask him about his interesting facts. I still didn't understand it, so if you get that, all the best. If you don't, we'll just move past it, like me and Simon are doing.
Yeah, I've no idea what he's on about, but it sounds impressive.
Oh, I tell you what, Shaun is really getting that black ball to move on the break. That was close. Right off the draw in the middle pocket. He's ended up coming up dry. Look how close that was. And it would have been 3-1 in the blink of an eye if that had dropped, but it's another big break, and in doing so, he's opened up the table here for Simon Fitzsimmons, who has to move quickly.
We're into the 15 seconds of shot, and almost caught Simon out there.
But you notice how he never looked panicked, and that's the nature of the beast from someone who is a very experienced shootout player. He knows what this is all about. He's used to playing with the shot clock. Been there and done it in big moments. And it has to help. Won't necessarily be a defining advantage, but it is certainly an advantage going in. But he has made an error. And I don't think that's purely down to time pressure.
Slightly hampered queuing over that red, and possibly not the full pocket for the yellow. Still a surprising miss.
Speaking of surprising misses, both players just having a little bit of a fluttery moment here in the opening set. Let's have another look at this one. Wasn't an easy plan for Shaun, but again, it's one of those that enters into the category of we'd expect him to make it.
Definitely, he was playing it at a pace to try and open everything up, so he fully expected to make that shot. And having missed a shot previously, Simon's coming back to the table with a golden opportunity to tie this match up, and probably can't believe that he's come back so quickly.
Yeah, it was a sloppy start to this frame by Simon, but I don't expect any further errors from him.
That was a lovely positional shot. Just coming across the face of the yellow. Just has to avoid the black coming on and off the cushion. There is room, not a huge amount. He's come across the face of it.
Executed beautifully. Beautifully done. That was really, really top queuing that from Simon Fitzsimmons. See how deep he had to screw back and played it perfectly. And this is Shaun Storry's profile, 34-year-old from Ipswich. Pilot in spare time, which is, I think, the best interesting fact so far of all the players we've seen.
Certainly up there, isn't it? Great, interesting fact. A couple of things on there for me. The biggest achievements, the 2 events he's won, the Isle of Man Amateur Championships to earn himself pro status, is a great tournament to win. Some of the players in the amateur side of the IPA is incredible. And very similar story in the Bulldog Security Challenge. That was a very big money event and lots of big players in it. And actually, I think he played Simon Fitzsimmons in the semi-final of that event and beat him.
Yeah, he mentioned it earlier in his interview. It was something you did remember fondly. A little bit lucky with the break there, as that white ball was careering off towards that top corner pocket, but Fitzsimmons at the table here. Yellows are the option chosen. Could really have gone either way, I think, realistically, but yellows do look nice for him here. This is a man who doesn't need 15 seconds. He only needs about 45 to clear a table. We've seen it. We've seen him do it before. And this is obviously his first real appearance since. And I think for his opponents, that will be a sort of interesting dynamic of it, Simon, because we know he's never really out of it because you've seen him do it. But he's having a few issues at the start here, which I'm going to put down to maybe a little bit of rust.
I think we've seen it from a lot of players in this event so far, probably all players apart from maybe Mark Farnsworth. They've just come in and they've just been a touch rusty. You know, just he's missed the pot, but he's missed the pot because he's run out of position. He should have landed on that yellow a lot easier than he did.
Yeah.
But I think he's definitely going to heat up as this match goes on.
And the hand came up because not only has he been a bit rusty, he's also been a bit lucky. This is a real pain for Shaun to get out of. Totally snookered, which means he doesn't have to hit a cushion after contact. And if Simon can't see the potting angle of this yellow, he's done a pretty good job there.
That was the tricky thing for Shaun, was making sure hitting a red wasn't going to be difficult, but trying to make sure that he stopped Simon from having a ball to go at, because all 3 yellows and the black were still in the open. So first job done for Shaun. Now he can see a red, he can start to get into the frame, although normally you'd say the player with most balls on the table is in the driving seat tactically. Shaun at the moment is just a little bit behind.
Yeah, Simon played a bit of a shot to nothing there to try and make that plan. If he had it done, he'd have been in with a chance to win the frame, but if he hadn't, which he didn't, it still wasn't a terrible safety shot. That's quite a clever shot, that, from Shaun.
That shot should give him the advantage in this tactical battle. There's still problems on the table. He's now got an open pot on, but he's got the red and black and the yellow at the top of the table that are blocking, well, it's blocking at least 2 reds. So still not thinking aggressively, still looking at just keeping it tight, tying things up.
Interesting one for... Oh, has he left this yellow open at the bottom of the table? I think he has.
I think he can just see the edge of it rather than actually potting it. Yeah, he can. I think that Shaun's in a difficult position, because if he had left a snooker then he would have been in a worse position for it. So just leaving the edge actually helped him.
Yeah.
Because it meant if he got a snooker, then Simon could come off one cushion and snooker him back.
It's an important shot for Shaun to clear out that top pocket. Still on here for Simon, and he does have a pot on. He may go for this, because I think the black passes the red on the side cushion. So Shaun's dangled the carrot. It's not an easy clearance, it's not easy to get on this yellow. But navigating the minefield of reds in the middle of the table.
Shaun would have preferred, he was really trying to cover that top pocket rather than just nudge the yellow out of the way. So he was taking a bit of a gamble when playing the shot that he did, but it has left Simon this opportunity.
I think he might even have an angle to break into the 2 balls there, and I think that's what he was trying to do. He's not played it nicely, and a frustrated sigh from Simon Fitzsimmons, because now the frame's wide open for his opponent.
Yeah, this is Shaun's frame to lose. Doesn't have to do it in the first visit. He's still got the red and black that are a problem. Trying to make sure of his opportunity. With 7 minutes left on the clock, the winner of this frame is going to be in the driving seat in the set. So it's important for Shaun that he waits for the right time and the right opportunity to go for this finish. Doesn't want to take it on and risk not getting it. Try and lay a snooker that's going to earn him a foul, although the shot clock's caught him out.
And actually, this ended up being a perfect shot. He couldn't have. He's a little smile to himself there, Shaun Storry, because I don't think he realised he could have done that with that shot, and he wouldn't have played it ordinarily. And now he's in primo position because
he was in. He was thinking, I'm going to look for a snooker, and then he came to the table with 1 second left and thought, I better just pot a ball. He's now got what he wanted. He's got the foul from Simon Fitzsimmons. This is his opportunity. He gets a free shot now just to develop the red and black, and then he should have a wide open table. Oh, it's a slightly risky way of playing the developing shot, because he was always going to leave the white below the red and black going into it from that angle. He wasn't guaranteed to land on a ball, and he hasn't, so it's going to be another safety shot.
It's a risk, wasn't it?
Time out.
So will Simon play this firm and try and get the yellow going towards a cushion, or will he just come down and try and rest up behind it? I suspect he'll try and make this. Going to be pleased. He's blocked the bottom left corner. Simon's got it. Sorry, I was going to say Simon's got to get back to work again.
Yeah, it was a strange shot from Shaun, because whilst it accomplished, you know, 2 goals, it moved the yellow, it moved the black, perfect, yep, great. But almost the thing that he almost seemed to forget about was he needs to be able to play a shot after that.
Playing the way he played it, he had to play it with more pace. He had to open it up completely so that he had a ball over the top of the table that he would have been on if the balls had opened up just that fraction more, or even a long plant would have been very makeable for him. So he just didn't probably hit it as firm as he probably needed to. But he has now got a second opportunity. Simon was trying to swerve around the ball to make the pot rather than just hitting it.
Which was a fiendishly tricky shot. And this actually, in a weird sort of way, could help Shaun Storry, the way that this frame has, I don't want to say needlessly dragged on, but he's had opportunities to win it already. But actually, in chewing up a fair bit of clock time here in the set, it could end up favouring pretty well. He should win this set, no question about that, this frame rather, no question about that. And if he's canny, he'll use as much of the shot clock as he can on each shot, and not give Simon much time. But he seems to be finding a rhythm, which again has its benefits too.
He's one good pot away from being 3-2 up, and he'll be breaking off the next frame with about 3.5 minutes left on the clock. If he makes a ball, he'll be pretty close to having the set wrapped up.
This for 3-2 with less than 4 minutes remaining in the first set. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, Shaun Storry, what have you done?
All the hard work undone by one careless miss pot on the black.
He's worked so hard in this frame for that opportunity. He's passed it up. And now what we were just saying about winning this frame for the benefit of Shaun Storry, it now is for the benefit of Simon Fitzsimmons. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, this is the draw as it looks like in the Freesports Super Series. It's the winner of Emma Cunningham and Aaron Davies for these two, which was Aaron Davies by 3-0. He awaits either Simon or Shaun in the quarter-final. And good game that will be as well. Aaron really, really impressive in this round of 16 victory. But Shaun Storry here breaking almost by the cushion. He wants to get this black ball on the move as much as he can. He's looking for a golden break. He's not got it, and I don't think he's made a ball. No, he hasn't. So Simon Fitzsimmons here is in the driver's seat for this first set, and he absolutely shouldn't be.
Shaun's going to be kicking himself. He should have been breaking up there 3-2 ahead and coming up dry. We would have been seeing Simon running around the table trying to make one of his trademark quick finishes just to tie the set up. Instead, Simon can take his time. It actually doesn't matter if he makes this clearance or not. He just needs to use, you know, 13, 14 seconds on every shot, and the set will be his. Though he's run out of position, I think he can still see the yellow by the black to continue the visit.
Yeah. He wants to be on the 2 at the middle of the table, but it's not the end of the world. That's a beautifully cued shot.
Normally, in normal circumstances, I'd be talking about how the yellow on the right-hand side of the table is a problem ball and he needs to work it out and he wants to get that work done early. Simon's not thinking like that. He is just potting these balls using, you know, as much of the clock as he can on those balls and probably look for some sort of double. I'm not sure if there is a double, or maybe just try and land on it with his last shot. Leave plenty of angle on the yellow down the rail, trying to come across the face of that yellow and play it into the centre pocket. Yeah,
and this is a little bit of clock management we talked about in the last frame. This is undoubtedly what's been done by Simon here. It's not a bad shot, you know.
That's fantastic. That's a brilliant shot. He was a little straighter than perfect and had to really punch it in to create the angle, and brilliant from Simon, and that will be the set.
Yeah, no question about it. 55 seconds remaining, so there will be another rack. There is still time for Simon Fitzsimmons to break. So that will keep it going, but it is now 4-2, and that realistically is that for the first set here. A crazy first set. Really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those sets that could really stay with Shaun for the rest of the match. He needs to forget about that very quickly. He's probably sitting in his chair thinking, I should have won this set. You know, I should have, you know, all but won the set already, and all of a sudden I'm going 1-0 down. He needs to forget about it, and the others for Simon's won a set that he probably thought he wasn't going to win, and he's just going to relax, and he could really, you know, find a gear from here.
Yeah, exhibition shot to get the break underway, but that'll do it for the first set. Simon Fitzsimmons is happy to let that one lie. It is 4-2, and it is 1-0 to Simon Fitzsimmons at the end of the first set. A set which could have gone either way, goes the way of the bouncer. We're back with set number 2 after this. Well, welcome back to the Super Series pool here on Free Sports. Stephen James and Simon Webb with you all evening long as Simon Fitzsimmons takes on Shaun Storry here in the round of 16 for a place in the quarter-finals. We are 1 set down. Simon Fitzsimmons won that one, but I think the analysis of this one, Simon, is at least Dick Turpin wore a mask. It was a robbery.
It really was. Shaun's going to be absolutely kicking himself. That is a set that has got away from him, and Shaun and Simon's won a set he just didn't expect to win, and he could really relax and almost run away with this set. If he gets off to a good start in this second set, then, you know, it's watch out for Shaun.
Shaun is now at the table. And this is the miss from the end of the last set. Pots that. And he is all but won the set in missing it. He gave it to Simon Fitzsimmons, and it's a real aberration from Shaun because it's a pot that he just doesn't miss. It's a 99 out of 100 shot, that.
Just so bizarre. He'd played so well, you know, waited and waited and waited to get his opportunity. It was 2-2 at that time with about 3 minutes left on the clock. He waited, he got that opportunity, and then to sort of throw it away, you know, it's a big mistake. Of course, he got to break in the next frame, came up dry, and Simon made a very quick reverse dish to make sure of the set. But this is set play, and set play does allow you to forget things like that. This is where he needs to absolutely just wipe that from his mind, reset, go again, and win this set. He's just, nothing else matters other than this race to 5, the next 30 minutes. I always think, you know, the mental side of this game, if you can be strong enough to say, right, I'm going to forget about that, I'm just going to focus on the next shot, and the next shot, and the next visit. But it's when you make your next mistake and you walk away from the table, when he will make other mistakes. We've seen it all, you know, it's pool, it's sport, you will make more mistakes. It's how you deal with those. But if the next mistake he makes, he'll be walking away, and that will be in the back of his mind then. I've thrown away the first set.
Yeah, this first frame becomes massive for Shaun. He's plotted his route through these reds. He's done it well. This is as simple a black as the one he missed 5 minutes ago. He needs this, you feel. A little bit wobbly, but he's there. is there, and that's an important frame for Shaun Storry to win. It really is. He won't care that it wobbled a little bit. It's down, and that's all that matters. Here's their recent tournament history. He got himself a win on the IPA Tour recently in October. He won the Isle of Man Amateur, and Jordan Church's a very, very decent opponent to be playing in the final of that one, a 7-3 win. And elsewhere, a familiar story for an amateur on the circuit at the minute. They end up going against the likes of Rob Donkin, Ben Davis, Mark Boyle in early rounds of tournaments, and there's absolutely no disgrace in losing to some of the best players in the world.
It's the nature of the beast with the IPA Tour. There are so many top players. The fields are so deep week in, week out, and that's what you've got to do. You know, he's had to fight his way through to earn his professional status. He's turned professional this year, but he starts off as a lower ranked professional. That means he's going to have tough draws every week, and yeah, he's going to have to almost kick on from making a professional status and go to that next level. But it's the same story for Simon. Simon's turned professional this year as well. I think they're ranked 51 and 54 on the tour, and they're going to have to climb their way through the rankings. I think Simon said in his pre-match interview that his target was top 32, and that's where you know, that's the first step to get the you know, slightly easier draws. Top 16 then gets a little bit easier again.
And we talk about momentum an awful lot in this Super Series, because the longer format, the set format, really does allow it to be swung all over the place. And a poor break from Simon, it came up dry, and Shaun's in at the balls here, and he's going to come up way short there. Way short. I was just about to say, the chance to arrest the momentum in the last set and get himself back on track. Well, he's 6-7 inches off.
He was trying to nip that one really quickly to get very quick spin on the ball. You want to play a screw shot, but not with pace, so that the slower you play it, the quicker the spin happens, and he could come on and off the cushion, and he just completely mistimed it. He's decelerating on the shot, missed the pot by a long way, didn't reach the pocket. It's a bad mistake.
And after a pretty poor break from Simon, he's a really good breaker of the balls. Didn't get into the one that he hit at the start of the frame at all. Now a decent chance. This is his toughest shot, and he's played that really cleanly.
Just overhit the positional shot. Good pop down the rail. Now he's got an angle coming down the table. Will be tricky.
Wobbled, but actually made its way down. And just feel like both players are battling a little bit here to find a bit of form in the early going. You know, we almost forget about it now because we have talked about it in most of the games that we've seen on the Super Series, but someone's barely hit a ball in 3.5 months. It is tough to get back to where you once were.
It's not just, oh, it's another bad missed pot. I was just about to say, it's not just missing balls, it's, you know, Shaun mentioned it, he's got a table at home, he can practice all he wants, but it's not having that match practice, that match sharpness. You can play all you want in practice, it's not the same as being out there and playing in a competitive match like this. Looks like Shaun is eyeing up another skill shot. Yellow onto red, needs the yellow to follow it in. Not this time.
Foul. 1 free shot, 1 visit.
And that actually was the perfect angle. That showed how difficult a skill shot is. And Simon, let's talk this back. This needs to be absolutely plumb.
Yeah, the key to these shots, there's so much said about skill shots in the game and so many different myths. The key to that shot, it's simple. You have to hit the red onto the yellow, or the yellow onto the red as it was in this occasion, as full as possible. If you get them absolutely full ball, the ball will just follow it through and they both would have go in. And you can see on that one we had a perfect camera angle to see. He had it just off full. Ball goes onto the cushion and he gives away the foul. And I would say the frame, but Simon's left himself very awkward on this black.
This is horrible. It's really not easy, this. Doesn't have to worry about the white ball. Where is the black going? That's a great pot under pressure. And Simon Fitzsimmons squares things up at the start of set 2. This is Simon's most recent tournament history. Had a good run at the UK Professional before being ousted by the Duster, 8-2, and a similar story actually to what we talked about with Shaun's. But what Simon has on his resume, which isn't listed here, is the victory in the grand final in 2019 in December against Jordan Shepherd, which always is more relevant to this form of the game, especially. He's a player to be watched in this shootout format. 3 finals and a victory to his name.
With everything that he's done on the shootout, I've been watching his results on the IPA tour and almost waiting for him to go deep and win a
break. That's his body.
Yeah, just going back to Simon, just you know, waiting for him to almost win a tournament or go deep on, and it's not quite happened for him on the tour. Obviously, he had that one run in 2017 to the World Championship final, but since then it's been some steady performances, but nothing to really write home about. And I've been slightly surprised because he really is a big-time player. Possibly some frustration in that break from Shaun, really letting out a little bit of anger, really got through that ball.
Didn't he just? 2 yellows and 2 reds down after the break. It's a rather harsh spread for someone who's just potted 4 balls off the break. It's not the easiest lie, really. Could argue he deserved a little bit better, but reds are the choice, and he's got a tough shot coming up here.
It's often the way, and another great champion once said this to me, that Simon Ward, he was talking about the break, he would rather make 1 ball off the break than 4. You know, most people would be like, let's make as many balls as possible and open it up. But his theory is that if I only make 1 ball off the break, I've got more balls on the table to be able to negotiate a pattern around the table to be able to make the clearance. And that's what's happened here.
That was a really tough shot. And he's unlucky there, Shaun Storry. I think you could definitely argue that he deserved a little bit better. That was a really, really tough pot. And these yellows aren't particularly kind for Simon. He's got to be quite careful here what he does. Black is obviously a problem ball for Simon, who is yellows.
The yellows are solvable. The 2 yellows at the bottom of the table, you could turn those into a plant if you wanted to, but they would be difficult. So I'm not surprised to see him play the safety shot. So I was about to say that the black is not an easy ball to solve. You probably have to leave it till your last ball to try and move it, or leave it there for a double. So wise decision to play the safety shot, especially as it feels like Shaun's, I wouldn't say on the ropes, but he's just having a bit of a wobble. Don't make it easy for him to sort of get a frame on the board.
Yeah, a bit of a shot to nothing that from Shaun. He knew the white would end up pretty safe. Doesn't give away an easy shot for Simon and would have pretty much won him the frame.
It's going to be interesting to see what Simon does. It's difficult for Simon to play a safety shot that's going to earn him a good opportunity. So why, you know, it's not really worth playing on, but then if he takes the finish on, you know, he's still got that problem with the black.
Grimace on the face of Simon Fitzsimmons. He has covered the potable red though, or has he? I think he's about to be laid into a pretty fine snooker here by the looks of this from Shaun Storry. A little drag shot and the white behind the red. That's pretty neatly played, but if that yellow goes into the middle, it could still be a problem for him.
I think Simon can see enough of this yellow to pot it. He wanted to leave the yellow at the top of the table. That was his ball to develop the black with. And now that's gone, it makes the black even harder. Does he leave the black where it is? He's guaranteed to pot the yellows if he wants to go for the finish. Does he leave the black where it is, try and get the white into the bulk area of the table and make a double? Or is he going to look for an angle to try and develop the black somehow?
So difficult to do that.
Yeah, you want balls near your problem area to be able to create an angle, to be able to go into your problem ball, but also it's what you're going to leave afterwards. If you leave the black till last to go into, then you're really asking for, you know, a bit of rub to go your way to be able to land on it. So I think best option, I think, for, or the most controllable option for Simon is just to leave the black where it is and make a double. He has a choice here to make. He could go up towards the black if he wanted to, or he could pop this slightly thinner with a trace of side and just come up the centre of the table and leave the double. Both shots are on. He's gone for the move of the black, and that has got worse. The double is now not on.
That's a gamble.
So has he got cushion first? No, he's looking for another option. I was thinking cushion first into the centre. Probably not on.
Well, he's going to have to delve into the box of tricks here. Oh, the double was onto the top corner. It was on.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm not sure. That's absolutely brilliant from Simon.
Well, just the way that he looked there as he won the frame. Again, he had a slightly sheepish aura about him after winning the last set, and that's repeated there. He's got away with a couple.
But he was looking for other options. His first thought was what I was saying, was the cushion first. You could see it lining it up with a cue. So he wasn't convinced when it first came out like that the double was on, and he was looking for another option. So great shot in the end, though.
Certainly was. It's the penultimate round of 16 match. We just saw the draw there. Some brilliant players already into the quarterfinals. Three current and former world champions among their number. Gareth Hibbert, Mark Farnsworth, and current champ John McAllister.
He started the event with 4 IPA world champions. Cunningham's been knocked out. We also had 2 IPA World Championship runner-ups in Aaron Davis and Simon Fitzsimmons.
It's got the potential to really be an all-star quarter-final lineup, doesn't it? It really does.
And of course, we've not seen the shootout king yet. We have not seen Jordan Shepherd, who has pretty much owned this format of the game since it came to our screens.
The 15-second shot clock will be in action after this shot from Simon. So at this point he has to get his skates on around the table. Clearance is on for him. The yellow on the side cushion, Simon, is his problem ball. It looks pretty optimal for a double. Is that what he's going to leave, or do you think he's going to try and move it?
I think in an ideal world, you probably want to move it, but the double is probably the best option. The reason I'm saying that, if you try and move it, it could easily go towards those 2 reds, and then you'd have no shot on it. Although he has left a decent angle to move it.
Speaking of doubles,
Look how close he had to get to the red to make that double. He's played for it to the bottom corner. It's a good choice. When you get right behind these, you do fancy us making them. They look tough pots, and they are tough pots, but fancy Simon to go very close. Not this time. Oh, wow.
He can't believe it. He can't believe it. Well, it's another frame going the way of Simon Fitzsimmons. He almost looks embarrassed to have won it the way he has in the last couple of ones. He's got a little bit of luck going his way. These are the recent shootout champions. We mentioned Jordan Shepherd has been the undisputed king, really, of this format. But Simon Fitzsimmons has been in 3 finals and won the last one. Jordan Shepherd, reminder, is in action tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that. The only other winner, Liam Dunster, is not in this competition.
1 and 1 set to 0. Time running.
The invitational format was open to players based in England only, based on the lockdown restrictions at the time when the tournament was created. And then Shaun Storry, I'm starting to feel a little bit sorry for him, but he's just made a gesture there which says, well, what more am I supposed to do? He's creamed another break, made a few balls, and that's what he's rewarded with. He did have a shot, and he's done well to play it, and it might just open up the frame for him here.
Now he's just got the 1 yellow that's a problem. And he's sort of on it. This isn't easy, this isn't nice. He has to take it on. Cut back to the centre pocket. We've seen all tournament long, these centres play very tight.
This is tough. For a man who's not on hot form and has been struggling to battle his way back into this match, that is not the type of shot you want to be playing. That's a tough shot for a player on top form and high on confidence. And at the minute, I don't think Shaun Storry is particularly either of those things. Still a long, long, long way to go, to not forget. But at this point in the match, Simon Fitzsimmons is odds-on favourite to go 2-0 up. But we were speaking to Simon before this game, Simon, off air about the set format, and he retold the story of a game he had where he lost one set 4-0, the second set 4-1, and won 3-2. It happens, and it happens all the time. And I think he was telling us a story there about his World Championship final run in 2017. It really is a format that invites comebacks.
It is. We've not seen it so far in this event. That's just not the way the matches have gone. But it's definitely a format where you can turn things around. And so you could win, you could lose the opening 10 frames. You're only 2 sets down. Then you somehow manage to win set number 3, and you're right in the match.
So let Shaun back in there. Again, I think he might have got away with one. You can see this red to the bottom left here as we look at it. And there it goes.
It's a big bounce. Needs a big bounce. It's just a touch short. This will still cut back. But the white's going away. You might have to play this with a trace aside. Try and hold the white. He's done that very well. Great shot. Although dead straight, back close to the cushion, isn't ideal. Just enough angle to punch up the table.
He's fighting these balls at the minute, isn't he, Simon Fitzsimmons? He's scrapping and clawing his way to form. But it's another frame on the board, it's 4-1.
I think some of the expressions we've seen from Simon, he knows he's not quite hit top gear, and he's almost had a couple of little rubs and knows that Shaun's thrown away a couple of opportunities, and you know, that's why he's comfortably ahead.
Well, coming up for you on Free Sports, after this match in the Super Series, we have Real Valladolid against Juventus in the La Liga Santander. That is live La Liga action for you on Free Sports this evening. That will follow us immediately following the conclusion of this match. And a reminder, tomorrow, quite a few people are quite excited for this one.
Time running.
Mason Penny takes on Jordan Shepherd. Simon there has broke right, and there's still just about enough time in this set for a titanic recovery.
That's what it feels like it would take, though. Shaun's not playing well. That's the problem. He's making mistakes, and the more the mistakes have come, the more almost edgy he started to look.
Just not going his way.
Been really surprised so far that the skill shot that Shaun made in his opening visit to the table, or opening frame that he won, was very impressive, and I thought that would settle him down and he would just find his rhythm. But he has made some mistakes to allow Simon into this match.
The run of the ball is with Simon Fitzsimmons at the moment. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Sometimes, though, as a pool player, you feel like you bring that on. You know, Shaun's missed some pots. That pot that he missed that should have won in the previous set, you know, he's really going to be thinking about that and feeling that. And then when you make a mistake like that, you almost feel like, you know, I brought on this little bad run that you know, and you have to almost wrestle it away and get an opportunity, make a good finish, and then think, right, things are now going to go my way. I'm now going to get a couple of nudges.
Seven and a half minutes remaining of this set. It is not out of the question for Shaun to rattle off 3 in a row. Mathematically, at least, the likelihood of that happening at this current juncture is unlikely, for all the reasons that we've just spoken about. But there should be 1 on the board, and he has the break for the next one. Back in it, 4-2, 7 minutes to go. And you can see what takes his spot at the top of the table. He's not going to wait an extra second longer to get this break underway.
And he has got the black in motion a lot from his breaks tonight, so he'll certainly be hoping to do so again and maybe try and get a really quick one with a golden break. There is still time. There is definitely time for a couple of clearances. There's time to win 3 frames and get the set wrapped up that way. But what he needs is chances.
Time running.
Oh, the black's in motion again. Wow, that black was flying around.
I'm amazed that's come up dry. The movement that he gets on the pack is tremendous. But them's the breaks. When it's not going for you, it tends just to not go for you. You noticed that yesterday. And Alex O'Donoghue made his golden break. He did that after winning, I think, 4 or 5 frames in a row, and it just seems to be such a momentum-based thing.
It just feels like that sort of sport at times. You make a mistake, you feel like you're always going to break dry. You make a clearance from nowhere, you think, oh, I'm going to make a ball and continue it. It's just the way you think as a pool player.
Goodness me. Absolutely volleyed that red into the corner there, didn't he?
Creating angles that aren't there. This is almost straight. Look at that white.
Crikey, O'Reilly.
Hasn't helped him. He hasn't landed on the next ball.
I'll tell you what, that's a shot there. Starting to put the exhibition shots together here. Simon Fitzsimmons, a couple of absolutely brilliant shots.
That plant's opened everything up. There is room to pop the red to the bottom left.
This is for the set, don't forget, it's a race to 5. If Simon to clear here in the next 3 shots, it would ice the set for him, regardless of there being 4 minutes still to play. That's a canny little shot, and this, well, I was going to say, this should open it up, but I wonder if he's put that red a little bit too close to the left jaw. Does this cut?
Oh, his reactions tells me not. Oh, he's fouled trying to make it happen. There is still time here for Shaun. There is 4 minutes 20 on the clock. This is a frame he now should win. And if he can win it in the next, say, minute 20, there's still going to be time. That's not a good shot, though.
No one knows that better than Simon Fitzsimmons sat in that seat behind him. 2.5 minutes. A reverse dish and a break-in dish, including a re-rack. That is how quick we know it can be done.
It still sounds far-fetched when you say it, and I was there. It's
and there's so much more time than that here. So much more. Shaun doesn't have to absolutely fly at these. I'll take the option 2, which he'll be delighted with.
The problem he's got is it's Simon Fitzsimmons' break. So he's going to need a dry break. He'll need some help.
That's that. It's 4-3. Shaun almost back in the game. Reminder of those shootout champions. We've had quite a few go the distance in terms of the tournaments, and the final went the way as well.
Good opportunity showing that graphic that Simon won in Aberdeen. One of the guys that did so much and entertained us in Aberdeen, Martin McIntosh, had a new addition to the family today, little baby River.
Oh, well then, Shaun Storry, how much do you want it? Worst possible thing to happen for Simon Fitzsimmons. And it's not bad luck, it's bad cueing. Let's put that white ball straight into the corner pocket. And he has time here, Shaun Storry. He has time.
And these are wide open. This isn't even. This is just don't rush. Don't risk losing this frame rushing, trying to get yourself an extra few seconds for the next break.
Having said that though, Simon, if he can get through this quickly, he may well have enough time to break himself and maybe even win the set.
No, I agree, but don't risk moves. Just make sure of this. You know, get yourself to 4-4. Keep yourself in the match.
This is remarkable. Just needs to be on this black. He is. And Shaun Storry is going to have 90 seconds to win the set. This is amazing. Make sure of the black. He's done just that. We're all square. It's 4-4. We have 1 minute and 44 seconds and counting remaining of this second set. This is incredible stuff.
Pressure here on Donna. She's got to rack the balls up perfectly, quickly. She's got the Shaun standing over her, wanting the ball.
You can't do it quicker than Donna does it. I'm absolutely convinced of that. Well then, Shaun Storry. What have you got? Let's have a look at the clock as he breaks here. 1:16. Can he do it?
For once, he doesn't get the black in motion, but he has made a ball. It's a congested pack, but he has an opportunity.
It's ironically his worst break of any that he's hit tonight. Needs this white ball to put some serious movement into the pack here. The yellows open up. The yellows open up. This is on.
If the yellow by the black goes to the bottom left corner, and I think this camera angle shows that it's probably just a little bit too tight. So he has one more ball to work out. It does go to the middle pocket. It does go to the top right-hand corner pocket. And he can get there from this angle.
No one knows better than Simon Fitzsimmons that this is possible. 30 seconds for the final 3 balls. He was 4-1 down in this set.
He's got to run around the table here. This is going to be tight.
Shaun Storry for a Herculean comeback out of nowhere. Has done it. How about it?
Absolutely incredible. How has he done that? He was gone, 4-1 behind. He was absolutely gone. Brilliant finish from Shaun.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. We're blown away here in the studio. We hope you are as well. Third set coming right up. Welcome back to the Super Series pool here in the West Midlands. The final set that we just witnessed there, absolutely remarkable. It's currently 1-1. First frame of the third set rather has started. Shaun Storry at the table, chance to win it. Oh no.
Having rattled off 4 frames in next to no time, 2 back-to-back finishes from the break. That was for another one to start this third set, and disaster.
What a ridiculous game this sport can be at times.
The only thing I would say is I feel like we should be 1-1. I think each player has won the set they should have lost. Yeah,
I think that's a totally fair analysis. I think Simon Fitzsimmons had very little right to win the first set, and Shaun Storry absolutely no right to win the second. 4-1 down. He himself would say he was playing fairly terribly at that stage in the match. Was really struggling. And then out of nowhere, 4 frames rattled off in next to no time. And a counter there for Simon Fitzsimmons to go 1-0 up in the third set here. These are the stats as we currently have them. It really is even. We've seen quite a few missed pots from both players, 8 and 9 respectively from Fitzsimmons and Storry. And it's helped add to the drama for sure, just how rusty these players have been. There's absolutely no shame in that, but it's helped create a very dramatic game so far.
Some of the missed pots have been quite eye-catching, and some of the mistakes have been, I think, very rusty. Simon, we saw him shaking his head a lot at the start of the second set, at the end of the first set, because he wasn't playing well, but he managed to get over the line. And somehow, Shaun's found a gear. He's made 3 finishes from the break. 2 of them were to end that last set. And all of a sudden he gives it away at the beginning of the third set. Another cracking break from Shaun, though. He's really catching the break well. And he's not being blessed with brilliant splits all night anyway. He's had a couple at the end of the last set, but always got work to do. Might take this on to the bottom right corner. It's a very tough pot. But if it goes in, frames at his mercy. If it doesn't go in, he still feels like he's got some control in the frame because he'll have the pocket.
Tell you what a shot. A good shot that is. And I just wonder, even accounting for that white into the middle at the end of the first frame there, just the way he won that set, it has to give him confidence. He's had a little lapse on the positional shot for the black in the last frame. It has to give him confidence. The amount of balls he put in such a short space of time.
Yeah, he was, I mean, he must have been preparing himself and being fully prepared for being 2-0 down. Even though he was still trying to win that set and still had hope of winning that set, you can't help but think to yourself, okay, I'm going 2-0 down here. And, you know, he's 1-1, so even though he's, you know, made a mess of the positional shot onto the black in the first frame in this set, he's still in such a better position than he thought he would be, you know, even 10 minutes ago. He must be on a bit of a high still.
I think we have to also put a little bit of respect on what Shaun Storry did in there. He's a little bit short here. Hang on. I'll bookmark that one. This is a tough finish now.
And it's tougher because of the mistake he made in the previous frame as well.
I think he's doubling it. And he's gone for the cut. And the white nearly went in. It nearly went, but he's got it. And Shaun Storry ties things up. But yeah, it's just as I was saying, the break that Shaun did to win the last set. We'll take a look at the tournament spread here. These players playing for a spot in the quarters, isn't it? It's Aaron Davies. The break that he put together at the end of the last set, 75 seconds on the clock when he hits that break. The break was arguably the worst one he's hit all match. It was not an easy table to come to be able to clear in the space of a minute. Fantastic clearance.
It was a very congested little table. You didn't get the power and the split that you had been getting. But it was that one good shot to open things up, and then he had to play a couple of precise positional shots, which is incredibly hard to do as Simon goes in off the corner, which is incredibly hard to do under that sort of pace. But he did it. He was in perfect position all the way through the visit.
It was absolutely his finest clearance. Probably the best clearance I've seen in the match so far. It took him 75 seconds to do it. Stupid game.
It really is. I mean, you can't really put any reason on why that happened. Maybe you're not thinking. You're just flying. So with free shot here off the foul off a break, just nudge a red safe and then go after yellows. If all your yellows go, it's a really good option. Just open things up or tie up your opponent's ball set and clear a bit more space on the table for yourself. May look to screw into this yellow just delicately to nudge up the cushion, or he may just drop this in off the thick part of the pocket and hold the white.
Yeah, a couple of options for Storry here. Looks like he's screwing. He is. It's a good shot.
Yeah, he's given himself that sarcastic pool player's tap of the table because he's got a poor angle. If he screws this back, it's going to be going down more to the centre of the table, and that won't give him good position on the yellow at the bottom of the table. He may have to drop this in, play the yellow from distance. Well, he's looking to see if he can screw down through those reds to the bottom right-hand corner of the table. That would be some positional shot.
Is he playing? I think he is. He's not got into it, but he's going to play it in the centre of the table. It's not a bad shot, really. It's guaranteed position on the black. He just needs to make this yellow.
Sometimes you just have to accept that you can't get good position and give yourself a shot.
It's still a shot that he would expect to make. And he does. Just needs this to keep on rolling and rolling and rolling, and the black is a doddle. That's a really good clearance from Shaun Storry. A reverse dish for the man from Ipswich.
really impressive stuff from Shaun, isn't it? Shows his mental strength, because he really was, he was making some poor errors at the beginning of that second set, and you know, obviously a poor error not to win the first set. So to find this response, not just the fact that he's won the frames, but he's won them in style as well. Very, very impressed with what Shaun's doing right now.
Frame 4, Shaun Storry to break, leading 2 frames to 1, 1 settled, time running.
He's made a ball, he almost didn't. Trickled into the middle pocket there. And the cue of Shaun Storry. Again, a bit of a funky lie for him.
Not an ideal table. Red and yellow at the bottom of the table would make you want to go reds, but then the red at the top of the table is tricky. I think he can't take the red to the top right as his first ball. He needs to leave an angle on that red to be able to go across and develop the red towards the top left.
Yeah, he can have that now from one of these reds in the middle pocket. Just having a look at where he wants the white ball to go. He's looking at playing the red to the bottom right as we look at it here. Taking the cue ball off the top cushion. Moving the yellow. He's got the angle to do that now. It's the big shot.
What he's got to guard against is the yellow going and blocking the black. Be very interested to see whether he plays this with quite a lot of pace to try and open up that area, or if he plays it with controllable pace. It's controlled and it's brilliant. It's a great shot. You saw him 2 or 3 times come round and have a really good look at the angle he needed to catch this yellow at to play the shot he wanted, and you could see the angle that yellow's going. If he hits that, you know, 2 inches harder and it gets in front of the black, then he's just created another problem. So really good control from Shaun.
Yeah, it sure was. He's not totally out of the woods yet though. He's got the rest of this table to navigate. But the difference between where he is now and where he was at the start of the last set is marked. That one wiped its feet.
Yeah, that would have worried him just for a second. Wasn't the cleanest pot. He's going to have to use the yellow to, when he screws back out off this red. Ideally, he'd like to avoid it, but he's probably going to have to feather into it. He has.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done from Shaun Storry. He's a different player to where he was half an hour ago. You see Simon Fitzsimmons' name on the honour roll, not where he'd like to be. Mind, this is the World Champions. Listen to Craig Marsh in 2017. Marsh was on fire in that final night.
It was a brilliant performance from Craig, and yeah, no shame for Simon losing to Craig the way Craig played in that final. But at the time, that was you know, Simon's come through the ranks to earn that place in the final. He had to work very hard to get there. Almost put his name on the map with that performance. It's Simon that just looks a little bit rattled now. He has to try and do what Shaun did and steady himself and try and make his next opportunity. It may well come at 4-1 down in this set. This is another chance for Shaun.
There is the noise that indicates the shot clock is about to change after this shot from Shaun. 15-second shot clock now in operation. So, I could just let Donna say that. Says it so well.
Why not? These yellows are laid out beautifully for Shaun.
You take a look at the lie of the reds here in comparison to the yellows, it really was a no-brainer.
It's quite hard to describe how much this match has turned around. It really is. Shaun is just a different player. He's just somehow managed to forget everything that went in the first set and 3 quarters and find his best game. He's playing some lovely pool now.
It's amazing how often it happens. It really is, but at the same time, it never fails to surprise us. I don't know why. We should maybe start to expect it, but it always seems to be more dramatic the more and more it happens. You know, Shaun was struggling to pot a ball half an hour ago, and he's absolutely flying now. He's the man with the pilot's license. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. That was unintended and then very much intended. I do apologise, but an incredible turnaround, Simon, and he's now got the opportunity to really hammer down that advantage.
He has, and the thing I'm most impressed with, he was able to wrestle it away when it wasn't going his way, but he's actually showing some really clear thinking out there. Those last couple of finishes, okay, the last one was fairly routine because they were wide open, but the one before that, where it was still, you know, the set's still tight, he had 2 problems to work out. He did it really well, and he had perfect position all the way through, really good pattern. So he's thinking very clearly under a short shot clock.
Yeah, no, credit must go to him as well for being able to do it, having had the disappointment of throwing away the first frame in this set.
That black twice that black has hit that jaw. How has it not dropped?
Have another look. No. No. How on earth? Ironically, it's a dry break, and he was a millimetre away from winning the frame altogether.
Winning the frame and the set. That's and he's really been. Out of every player we've seen in the tournament so far, he has looked the most likely to make a golden break because he's had that black in on the move a lot, and he's yet to make one.
Oh, Simon. Well, it's amazing how the roles are reversed. This is pretty much a carbon copy of the last set, but roles reversed, because Simon now's 4-1 down and is patently struggling, and it's a very, very similar situation. He's needing a miracle here from Shaun, but we saw one in the last set. You know, it's not impossible.
Shaun knows as well as anybody that this set's still got to be won. There's so much time left on the clock. He knows he needs to get that 5th frame on the board as quickly as possible, and he doesn't want to give Simon any opportunity to get back into the set. Simon's going to try and make it happen, and this is not the layout that you want when you're trying to make something happen. He has just nothing to go at all. It's a good effort, but yellow at the bottom of the table doesn't go anyway. Shaun has the table that he wants. He may take it on at this visit. He doesn't have to, but this is his opportunity, this frame. Yeah, he's going to wait. You can't argue with that.
No, he's the man in no rush. He holds the cards, not just in this frame, but in the set as well. 4-1 up, and with the majority of his balls on the table in comparison to Simon. What can he play here? Did have an angle to bounce it around the table, but that's about all it could be.
Yeah, try and get it into the open and hope that you get another shot at the table. Well, he's going to, because it's going to be a safety shot from Shaun. if I'm Simon in this situation, I'm probably thinking come off a cushion and try and fire into the yellow that he's nearest to, or put snookered on as hard as I can. Okay, you risk fouling, but you need to open this table up. If you're going to lose the set, then you look like you're going to lose the set anyway. And that's sort of what he's done. Oh, he's conceded the set.
And that is the end of the set. Simon Fitzsimmons knew the writing was on the wall there. It is 2-1 to Shaun Storry. Welcome back to the Super Series pool on Freesports. The 4th set is now underway, and you've only missed a couple of minutes, and the struggles are continuing just as you join us here for Simon Fitzsimmons, who's lost the last 2 sets out of nowhere, really. Shaun Storry here in with a chance now of winning yet another frame. He's won several on the spin now. Won the last 5. He's won 9 out of the last 10 frames.
And he was in a position where he was looking like he was shaky. He looked like he had gone a little bit.
Well, that's a sloppy one from Shaun. He's tried to pinch the pocket there. It's maybe not as bad a miss as it potentially looks, but the pace that he's played it with and the angle he's playing it at, it's a bad one, but it's not as bad as it potentially looks. But he's also not really given Simon a huge amount to go on here. This is tough.
Can he make this off the cushion, off the yellow? Oh, yeah, he's given it a go. It's tough. Simon needs to find something. That's not a bad mistake. He didn't really have anything to go at, but he had a good opportunity at the start of this frame and wasn't able to take it. And he does look very frustrated and annoyed with himself out there, the way he conceded the previous set when Shaun had balls to go at. Shows his frustration. It's perfectly entitled to do so. This is a frame that Shaun now should win. No balls to work out, no problem areas. When you've got a player rattled like he has, you want to keep them down as long as possible. He could screw up to take the yellow into the right centre if it doesn't go to the top left.
Pretty simple in the end. Another frame on the board for Shaun Storry. It's been an incredible last hour or so here. Leave the stats, but I mean, they can't tell the whole story. They just can't. It's been such a crazy game, and you look there at the total frames won, 13-9. 10 of those have come in the last 11 frames.
Been a big turnaround. It really has. There's been plenty of missed pots from both players, and there's been some good stuff in there. Shaun's had 6 finishes from the break to Simon's 3, but the key there is that the finishes from the break from Shaun, the majority of those have come in the last, as you say, 10 frames or so. He's really found his best stuff, whereas Simon has played a fairly consistent all the way through. He's looked rusty all the way through, and in the first set, he was helped out by Shaun, and since then, it's been a different story.
Dry break for Simon Fitzsimmons, proving that when it rains, it pours. Tough for himself to try and get back into this match now. It feels like all the momentum is just heaped against him. But we thought that for Shaun at the juncture where he turned it all around. The set format does allow it. If we were playing a race in frames, even if it was a long one, at one stage in this match, Simon was 8-3 up, cruising. Yeah,
and if Simon sits there and thinks about the 10 frames, that the last 10 frames and how things have been turned around and gone against him, and you feel like he's never going to come back. What he needs to do is remind himself that he is 1-0 down in a race to 5. He has 23 minutes to turn that around. The rest of the match is irrelevant. It sounds so simple to say, and it is, but it's very difficult to do. What's happened throughout the match really affects how you feel about the state of the match that you're in, and if you can keep a clear head and treat every frame individually, then you're in a better position for it. That's not ideal.
It's not. I think, can he see it?
He can, he just can't get nicely on the last yellow, although he's just come around to have a look, and it does go past the black and the red to the top right corner. Oh, yeah, the top right corner as we look from the overhead. So it wasn't too bad.
He's actually played it all right, but I think a little heart skip to beat for a second there for Shaun Storry. He missed this exact shot earlier on in the match, if you remember. Very, very similar shot, and he remarked at the time about how that showed off his rustiness. The difference between that player then and this player now it's almost as they don't know each other. But having said that, he's gone and done the exact same miss.
This time, I'm not going to put it down to rustiness. This time he was concentrating on that white. It wasn't a guaranteed positional shot. He had to come around the back of that red. And you can see he would have, well, he might have just been on the black had it gone in, but there was two parts to that shot, and unfortunately that's forced the miss. So this is Simon's opportunity. This is where Simon, if he's going to get back in this match, this is where it's going to start.
That's actually the perfect start for him. He's cleared up the top end of the table. Just needs to take these slow, take them one at a time, get himself back into this match.
Simon knows this is a finish that he should take out. This is a frame he now should win. You've still got to do it. It's just a fraction short of pace with the cue ball. Now this is a trickier pot when you're hampered by the cushion across the knuckle of the middle pocket, and you're cutting the red back. The difference that would have made if it had bounced even half an inch to an inch further out.
Not a gimme. Doing really well.
He's done well here, Simon. Got himself into a lovely position to wrap up the frame.
This could be a big moment in the match for Simon Fitzsimmons. He needed that. Really did need that. Coming up for you on Free Sports, following this, battle in La Liga. Valladolid take on Levante. That is immediately following the conclusion of this one. 11th versus 14th in La Liga. Mason Penny then takes on Jordan Shepherd. That is tomorrow's Super Series offering. Join myself and Simon from 6 p.m. tomorrow night. We round out the round of 16. After that, we will know our quarter-finalists. We already know it's a good lineup. It has the potential to be a truly great one. Blacks on the move. Oh.
He is getting close, isn't he? Closer and closer.
No one's got the black moving like Shaun Storry in this tournament so far. Just consistent movement on that ball.
But every time he gets the black going really close, he comes up dry. It's been very strange.
The last two breaks have shown that, yeah. This is now a really big frame for Simon Fitzsimmons. If he can take the lead in this set and just almost reset himself.
Just refocus yourself, don't you? If you can get yourself 2-1 in front, you're 3 frames away from winning the set. Although, you know, with 19 minutes left on the clock. We might not see a full set, but he would be in front, and all of a sudden you're looking forward again rather than back at what you've done and how it's gone wrong. Big problem here is the black. It's not a good ball. He may be able to pop the red that's right in the middle of the table off that black into the centre pocket, which would bump the black out just a fraction. That would be one option. I don't think the black doubles. I think the yellow is just blocking the double.
Yeah, I think you can see it there. I don't think there's a way to get that black across the table with the yellow in position.
But he doesn't have to move it. Just look from the overhead. Once he's got rid of the red on the side cushion, the black will go to the bottom left corner. So if he wanted to, he could leave everything where it is and back himself to land nicely on that black. It's far enough below the centre pocket that going in off wouldn't be in his mind. Well, he may be thinking, now that he's gone up top to come back down, I think he may be thinking about the black going up the table rather than down the table, because you wouldn't leave the red at the bottom to land above it.
It's a really nice positional shot.
And from our camera angle, it doesn't look like that black drops in the middle very nicely. He's come around to have a look. I'm assuming he's going to be playing this into the top corner. When you look from this overhead, there is not much middle pocket there. I mean, he could
has to be right.
Yeah, he could screw into it if he wanted to. No, he is going to go top.
Well, this isn't an easy shot, but he's close to the object ball. He will back himself to make this. Just to go 2-0 in the fourth set. Oh, and it stays up. It stays up. Doesn't come any closer. Oh, that's agonising.
Just caught the cushion on the way up the table. We've seen with a brand new cloth, when you're playing shots down the rail, you can get them just to slide in a fraction, but he played that quite firm, and actually against the nap as well, which probably didn't help it. So it stayed up, and it should have stayed up. And he's cleared the path for Shaun as well. All the reds out the way, these yellows are wide open for a counter clearance, and he should get himself back in front in this set.
Remember, Shaun being 2-1 up is now one set from home. If he wins this set, we are done and dusted, and we have our 7th quarter-finalist. Simon Fitzsimmons doesn't have an awful lot of room for error at this point.
That should give him a little bit of hope. He's gone too far for the yellow to the top right. It's not easy to land on the yellow that he's nearest off the one in the middle. Had to play that into the centre with some pace, and it's a better shot than it really looked.
Played that really, really well. That's the sign of a confident player, though. The way he played that into the middle pocket, never looked like missing it. It's a different player to the one we saw in the first couple of sets, for the majority of them anyway. Here is Shaun Storry. 6-pack he goes by as well. And with the pilot's licence. Favourite sports team, the Jamaican bobsled team. Absolute respect for that choice, personally.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? He's got a few nicknames going on. 6-pack supersize, and you'll notice on his back, the eagle-eyed amongst you, that he's got autopilot, which I'm assuming is related to the fact that he's got a pilot's license. Personally, I like autopilot for a Q player, a Q sports player. I quite like it.
Fourth frame, Simon Fitzsimmons to break, trading 2 frames to 1 and 2 sets to 1. Time running, 15-second shot clock in operation.
15-second clock is now running as well, as we just heard from our referee, and he's a little bit lucky here not to go in off. And watch that white ball cannoned off the jaw in the middle pocket. Didn't catch that as nicely as he has been doing. Oh, and that's unlucky.
awkward when you're that close to the ball to pick out the potting angle. Not much room into these centres, and another chance goes. Nearly caught out by the clock. So going for a one around the table as the clock started to beep. You can see there in the background there's a big clock on the wall, and the beeps tell you the last 5 seconds. So the players are fully aware at all times. It really helps as a player.
They should be 3-1. It's all there for him. Doesn't need to do a huge amount with the white. Said that he's done too much with the white there, way too much.
Yeah, this has just suddenly got awkward. That yellow, the red doesn't go to the bottom left. He has to take it into the middle, and those yellows are big blockers. This has got tricky. And it's gone wrong. The difference a few inches on that screw back made. It went from being routine to very difficult very quickly.
Well, he's hit the ball, which is, I mean, no small achievement in itself, being snookered like that, but...
So, of course, time out, please. It's not frozen.
So Simon's just asked Donna whether the yellow's frozen to the cushion or not, because he was going to play a snooker behind it, and the fact that it wasn't frozen meant that he could play the shot the way he did. You have to hit a cushion after contact with the object ball, whether that's with the yellow or with the white in this example, and the yellow hit the cushion. If the yellow had been frozen, then the white would have needed to hit a cushion, or that yellow would have had to hit another cushion.
Oh, he got excited there, didn't he, Shaun Storry? It's always the risk that Simon took playing that shot. It's a percentage shot, but as part of that bargain that you make, you knew that if Shaun hit that ball full ball, it would go close to the middle pocket and nice the frame. But in the end, it's turned out for him, or has it? Where's that white ball going? It is hanging on to that tablecloth.
He's lucky the white's not. He would have been unlucky to go in off in that way, but then it's clung on, and so, you know, it's almost a bit like his match. He is clinging on in this match. That's a strange choice of shot for Simon. That's a sign that he's not quite thinking correctly out there, because once he didn't go in off, the correct shot was to try and play some sort of containing shot, and he knows that was an incredibly tough pot to the corner, and he had better safety options.
Shaun Storry is not passing up many opportunities. This is where it all went wrong.
But have a look where the white finishes. You know, he could play the yellow that he does play, but can play it in a way where he's going to leave the white behind the two yellows that are together. Lay another snooker. Okay, you run the risk of him potting out of a snooker, but that pot to the top right corner from there, or the bottom right corner as we look from there, that's so low tariff, and I think that's just a sign. I mean, Simon's an aggressive player, don't get me wrong, but if he's playing well, he doesn't take that shot on.
Frame 5, Shaun Storry to break, leading 3-1 in frames, 2-1 in sets.
Shaun's break as well. He's 2 from home here, and he has been breaking so well throughout this match. So the move again. They have got ball down. Oh, these yellows look inviting. Goodness me. That one's come up very, very nicely.
You asked me at the top of the show, you know, is there a way to get the black in motion? And I said, not really. You know, you want to hit them firm and give it the best shot, but I think we're going to have to ask Shaun after the match, because he has found a way to get that black in motion almost every break. He has got a lot of movement on it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's almost a natural movement from the explosion of the pack, and sometimes it's the inevitable collision with balls coming back at the table as well. But he seems to have found some kind of formula.
Yet to make a golden break, though.
Just going to drift this one into the right middle and up the table, and That will put him 1 from home. Break came out beautifully for him there. Quite often in this match he's broken really big and not really had a split that's been a suitable reward. That was, you know, as soon as that break came out, we were both looking at it thinking, well, you might as well re-rack at that point.
Yeah, and the way he's playing at the moment, he's seeing clean patterns and he's taking them out really nicely.
Simon Fitzsimmons then, as it's back to the wall, he is 1 frame away from exiting the competition here in the Super Series. This game has been taken over by Shaun Storry, who was 8-3 down in frames at one stage. He's now 16-10.
Looking at those stats for me, those missed pots from Shaun, most of those came in the early part of the match. And since then he's found lots of finishes from the break, and he's actually been overtaken in missed pots by Simon, whose level hasn't... He's not been at his best all night, let's be honest, but he's dipped off since Shaun's found, you know, really good gear.
Oh, tough opening shot, but again, it's one that Shaun would have expected to make, and the balls look pretty nice here. It's a good chance for Simon Fitzsimmons to stay alive.
Start to have a quick look at the set clock. 7:20 left on the set. Has to make 3 frames to stay in this match. So the set clock is definitely against him. But there is time. Just.
If there was a single player in the Super Series who we know can do it,
well, he's done it before, that's for sure.
It's either one of these 2 players as well, because we've seen Shaun do it tonight. This pot down the rail will be tricky. Played it really nicely. And that's 1 down. We have seen a very, very similar comeback. Set number 2, feels like a long time ago now. It was pretty much this exact scenario. Shaun was let in, and it seemed like he couldn't pot a ball at that stage. Simon was cruising 4-1 up, got the opportunity, and all of a sudden, Shaun won 4 frames in about 7 minutes.
Frame 7.
Yeah, I don't know the exact time he had. I would say that Simon's probably got 30 seconds, maybe a minute less than Shaun had in a similar situation. He's got to win a minimum of 2 frames in 5.5 minutes.
Where's that back ball going? Goodness me.
Once again, isn't it? It really is. It's incredible.
Watch it from the start. This is amazing.
It's on. It's never touched. It is never touched. It's just quite incredible.
He was actually close to losing the frame because look where the white ball ended up. That would have been an incredible turning in drama, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we yet to see the golden duck. If you make the black off the break and foul at the same time, you lose the frame. We haven't seen one of those yet in the competition. I suspect we will before the competition is over.
But these are there for Shaun. This is for the match. He's playing beautifully at the moment.
He needs to play one really good positional shot where he swings the white over towards the black to land on the red into the right centre pocket, and he wants to be fairly straight because he's just come round to point the cue where he wants to land. Had a quick check to see if it go into the corner as well as the middle to give him some margin, but I'm not sure that it does. If he lands straight, it's all over. And he hasn't. He's just off straight, so he's still on this red. He's going to have to use some cushions.
Well, if ever there was a game of 2 halves, it has been this match here. Shaun Storry was absolutely nowhere, and now he's in the quarterfinals. An incredible streak from Shaun Storry. who runs away with the match in the end with a couple of 5-1 victories in sets. An incredible performance from the man from Ipswich. We'll hear from him after the break. Well, welcome back to the Super Series here on Free Sports. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb still with you because we just watched the conclusion of an enthralling match between Shaun Storry and Simon Fitzsimmons, and we're delighted to say that the winner joins us now. Shaun Storry, congratulations, my man. That was some performance in the final few sets in particular. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game, first off, how are you feeling? You're in the quarterfinals. Yeah, I'm feeling warm. Feel for Simon a bit because obviously he played really well the first few sets, and then I think one little thing changed in the second set when I'm 4-1 behind, and the whole match seemed to turn from that. He's sort of a millimetre off beating me 5-1 in the second set. So, well, we have to talk about that set because it's one of the better comebacks we've seen in Shootout Pool. 4-1 down, and at that point you seem to be struggling a bit with confidence and with rhythm, and then you slowly ground your way back, and you had 75 seconds heading into that final frame. What were your thoughts as you go into that? Were you confident that you might have the time to do it? Well, you think about tap breaking and taking half a point, but I just thought I'll carry on and see what happens. I didn't get the best split, but I sort of had an angle to slam one down the rail and screw into the pack, and they all came out okay from there, so you've got to go for it then. Congratulations, Shaun. How did you feel with the shot clock? Your first taste of 15 seconds in a match environment. You seem to adapt pretty well, but a couple of times almost caught out. Yeah, it does still get you quickly when you're sort of under a bit of pressure, but I'm glad I practiced. As I say, I did make a little shot clock and had a few games with Mason Penny, who's on tomorrow, so I'm glad I did that because it's sort of, you get used to how long 15 seconds is. It really helped. I want to take you back to the first set and that the black you missed. Promised you wouldn't. I'm off. At the time, it felt, and if you just turn around, you can see it on the screen. I don't want to see that shot. You don't want to see it, but at the time, it felt like this shot was for the set. As it turns out, you know, Simon managed to win the next frame and win the set 4-2. And then you started the next set badly, but how were you mentally able to stay in it and stay strong enough to be able to turn yourself around and actually find a really good gear there? As I say, I just got lucky that Simon didn't go 5-1, and I think I'm still in loads of trouble mentally. You know, it was tough out there. Once you make a mistake like that, it's just, you know, it's tough to go over it. Which, to be fair, the shot clock helps. You don't get time to really think about it. You've just got to get on with it, and yeah, just if you get a chance, take it, and if not, you know, the other guy will win. Well, it's a phenomenal comeback from yourself with 15 of the last 17 frames going your way. Once you got a couple of sets in the row, did you just feel like the last set that you won to make it 3-1 in total, did you just feel full of confidence heading into that one? No, I think I missed something early doors to go 2-0 up. I missed a long yellow. I took a bad finish out, got myself out of position and missed the long yellow. And then Simon, to be fair, I thought he'd play safe, and he took out an unbelievable clearance with 2 reds on the cushion. And you kind of feel like, oh, it's going to go back to even again. You know, I had a good chance to get a lead, but then I think he missed something to go 2-1 up and come back. But yeah, you just never know with this. You've just got to, if you get a chance to say, just go for it. Shaun, next up you've got Aaron Davies in the quarterfinals. Is he a player you've played before, and what are your thoughts on that match? I mean, obviously had an unbelievable run in the World Championships, beating everyone, got to the final this year, didn't he? So, yeah, he's a good lad. I look forward to it. And in terms of what we've got coming up tomorrow on Free Sports, Mason Penny, a player you've mentioned you've been practicing with during lockdown. What do you reckon to tomorrow's match? It should be a cracker, right? It will be a cracker. He's really good on the shot clock. I think he wants to play 15 seconds all the way through, to be honest. So it would be a real cracker. Maybe do best of 11s, 15 seconds a shot. Still be over in an hour. Well, that sounds like a great advert for it. Shaun, congratulations once again, and we'll see you in the quarterfinals. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. Well, superb performance from Shaun there. Simon, just for our viewers, how difficult is it to arrest that kind of momentum? I know you've been there in the past as a player when it feels like nothing is possibly going right for you. How difficult is it to arrest that slide and go on a run like that? It's really difficult, and we've seen it twice tonight because we've seen Simon Fitzsimmons almost be in exactly the same spot that Shaun was in, and he wasn't able to mentally deal with the fact that things were going against him. He wasn't getting the rub of the green, and he wasn't able to turn it round. But all you've got to do, it sounds so easy to say, you have to wait for an opportunity, get an opportunity and take it, and then believe things will turn around. One frame at a time, one ball at a time. So easy to say, incredibly hard to do, and mentally you have to be so strong. Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic performance from Shaun Storry. And as you mentioned, he moves on to the quarterfinals to take on Aaron Davis. Do stay with us on Free Sports. We've got plenty on the way for you, not least some La Liga action between Real Valladolid and Levante. But before that, we've got a treat for you, a Super Series final from Manchester as Paddy McCarran took on Jordan Shepherd. It was a cracker, and the highlights from that come next.
So here we go. Where's your money? Well, you'd have to say Jordan Shepherd, but I think that's been the case every match that Paddy McCarran's played today. You'd have bet the other guy. So well, would you be foolish to do it again?
Exactly, yeah. You'd get fed up of backing against him, wouldn't you? But he's been solid as a rock all day, Paddy McCarran. Mentioned it before, former youth world champion. He's obviously got really good pedigree. He's a great player. Beat Liam Dunster 5-0. I'm not sure many people, if anyone's ever done that, ever. And he's just gone and done it in his debut event. So what a day it's been for him. And there's no task harder than to beat Jordan Shepherd in this format. So it's going to be a hell of a feat to come through this field, beating Liam Dunster first and then Jordan Shepherd last. But the way he's played today, you wouldn't be too surprised if he did.
And he's going to have the first opportunity.
Just looks confident, composed. You know, he's just got that kind of. Oh wow, that could be a huge. Oh, no. That could already be a huge turning point in this match, because I mentioned it earlier, I think pretty much every single match has gone with the person that's won the first frame. Obviously the previous semi-final was one of the exceptions where Craig Lakin took a 2-0 lead, but that wasn't difficult. And Jordan Shepherd has got a tester down the cushion. But if he can get this and take this first frame, that would be a massive blow.
Well, you saw his nickname on the back of his shirt, Slight Breeze. That's exactly what he needed, just to knock that in, help it on his way.
Just something would have been. Yeah, and
that almost stayed out, by the way. Last shot.
Dude, he needs us to come back out again. Is he okay? He's just about all right. It was a calculated cannon. He knew he was going to flick off the side of it. Give this a full attention. He's got it.
Well, 5 unanswered frames to see out the semi. First one of the final. He's on a run of 6 without reply. That's why he wasn't bothered about a quick turnaround.
Well, he's very much a
I'll play all night, he says.
Player as well. So look how happy he is. You could be forgiven for thinking he's a little bit complacent here, but when you've got the record he's got, why wouldn't you be confident?
I would say, I'd look at him, I don't think complacent, I just think supremely confident in his own ability. I look at him thinking he knows that he should be winning this match.
Yeah, I think you're right, I think you're bang on actually. Jordan plays out of Murphy's in Doncaster. He's got the angle. He's got the angle off this yellow in the middle to disturb these two on the left-hand side. Wants to get quite a clean hit on these. Doesn't want to be skimming them. He needs to get both of them out, remember.
Just joining us, that noise that you heard was the shot clock winding down, but he was well safe, so nothing to worry about. Now then, oh,
doesn't want to flick the red.
Lucky. I was waiting for you to say that double didn't go.
I'll be keeping my mouth shut when it comes to doubles. Don't worry about that. Oh, he's going to put me in an awkward little snooker here. Oh wow! Can he even get out of that?
No.
Is there a gap?
They call that the fiendish, don't they?
Well, if there is no gap, then it is a re-rack, but there must be. You can just go side cushion.
You pot it.
It's a good shot, and he's well in control in this frame now. Pat McCarron.
Well, he had to try and go for it. Where's that gone?
No, he hasn't, has he?
It looked like that just kind of straightened off a bit.
Did a little bit, didn't it?
I thought that was down the right down the middle.
Might be the extreme spin on it. But he was trying to screw into the red and yellow just above it, and it's quite poorly executed because he was nowhere near it.
Using every second of this shot clock. Patty McCarron.
Well, I'm not sure what his plan is here. I don't know if is he looking at a 3-ball plan? I mean, he obviously can do that. It's just whether I think that looks like it's far jaw to me.
I'm going to say. Yeah, you were right.
He's not left a lot for Jordan. I think you always kind of fear the worst though when you leave Jordan anything.
Well,
it's just off angle as well. If he was just slightly over to the left of where he is now, he could have stunned across, but he's going to have to pull out some shot to get good position on this yellow.
oh dear. Well, that'll be frame over. That'll be one apiece. Yeah, he'll be annoyed. That was a tricky shot, but he fancied it.
Well, it was only a half chance really, and you know, he threw his arm at one. He didn't work out too well for him. Oh no, he hasn't, has he? That is desperately bad. Patty McCarron. He hasn't done things like that all day. He's been so solid all day. You see Jordan almost looked like he was going to concede the frame when he fouled, and there was only 2 easy reds in the open, and it looked almost as if he was going to concede the frame, and it's a good job he didn't.
Well, he's going to have to come off the cushion and pot this, otherwise it's an absolute gift. No. Well, it's not a gimme, but it's an opportunity that Jordan should never have had.
And I just, with what that's going to do to Patty McCarron, like psychologically as well, I just can't see a way back from him in this match if he goes on to lose this frame.
It was a clever shot, appreciated by Patty. To rescue this frame now.
It's a mistake in each of the frames from Patty in this final so far, and he's been pretty flawless all day. And against Liam Dunster, he was, I mean, I'm not sure if he made a single mistake, maybe one in the entire match. Oh, it's unlucky. It's a good effort. Bit of a saving grace, pushing the black a little bit safe. Still a lot of pool left to be played in this frame.
Yeah. Oh well, the black wasn't there long, was it?
Superb.
Yeah, he controlled that really well. Just had to be a little careful the white didn't overrun past the black. It didn't, and it's 2-0. Well, that's a gift. That's a gift for Jordan Shepherd, and well, he's so good you don't need to be giving him gifts.
No, it's hard to see a way back from the way that Jordan's playing, and to start the match like that with 2 mistakes in 2 frames.
Isn't he? His body language is completely different to it has been all day.
Completely, yeah.
I don't know if he just shattered. We were joking about how he didn't get any sleep last night at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's late in the day, so he's bound to be feeling it if that's the case.
Yeah, maybe it's caught up with him.
7 unanswered frames, semi-final and final. Shepherd. Wouldn't bet against him going 10. One yellow sank. So first opportunity for McCarron, but he's still going to be thinking about his mistakes, I'm sure.
Yeah, such a short format. I mean, you've got to try and put it out of your mind, but in this format, it kind of has. It's even more important than normal. You see there, Patty's just like again, just running out of position. Was trying to promote the red that is on this left-hand side cushion down the rail to make it a bit easier. Now he's looking at laying a snooker. Now, Jordan can see this yellow. I don't know whether he can see enough of it to be able to cut it into the middle. If he does, the black's going dangerously close to this bottom right-hand corner pocket. That's exactly what he's looking at now. He doesn't know what to do. He hasn't got an obvious shot here. It's not too bad. Didn't really have a lot else on.
Four minutes left of the 30-second shot clock before we go down to 15.
Tough finish this, because the red in the middle of the three reds doesn't go into either of these two bottom right-hand corner pockets. So I think he's looking to come across it. It's perfect, absolutely perfect. He can cut this in the middle now, take the white up table and try and get it as close to that middle pocket as possible to take this red into the bottom corner as your last ball, and that'll leave an easy black into the middle pocket. And it's not quite there. Thought it might drop on these sort of slidey, spongy, brand new cloth, new cushions, and it's just not quite got there. I think Jordan Shepherd, it might look like he's in trouble here, but he will be able to leave himself a skill shot. And if he gets right behind it, these are a sort of a 9 out of 10 for Jordan Shepherd. Just wants to get good on it. This is fairly good. Fancy him to get this. Perfect, absolutely perfect.
He's a machine. The Welsh Wizard. 3-0. That's 8 frames in a row. Semi-final, final. And I think the writing's on the wall, don't you?
I do. I think he's a huge underdog now to come back from this, and Sheppy, the way he's playing, it's look how easy he's making the game look. It's hard to see past Jordan Shepherd lifting this title.
Two frames away from the trophy once more. We will, at the conclusion of this match, be it in 2 frames or 7.
Really needs this frame if he's got any chance of winning this match. Paddy McCarron's got to clear these. He's got to win this frame. Lose this is match over. It might be first to 5, but he needs this frame.
The 15-second shot clock poised to come in, by the way.
He's just felt a bit flat, hasn't he? I think.
Well, he's looked it.
He's looked flat, hasn't he, Pat? He's just not been the same player that he was in the first 3 matches, and he was brilliant. The first 3 matches, he was really, really good.
That's not going to reach. And Jordan was wary of the shot clock changing. Wanted to get to the table straight away. Get out of my way.
15-second shot clock.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Shepherd, by contrast, couldn't look any fresher. He's bobbing around, his body language, he's upbeat. I mean, he's on a clearance here, which is really difficult, but he's walking around the table as if it's easy, as if I'll find something. He normally does.
Yeah, and put whatever's there, and if he has to make something happen, so be it. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, he's going to look to play the bottom yellow cushion first and flick it off the red to open that pocket up. But
well, he put a great one of these
as a double,
back, didn't he? Yeah, double. Yeah,
brilliant.
Oh yeah,
just needs. It's unlucky. It's unlucky, but he knew there was always a chance that was going to happen. He's looking at playing a really. Oh wow, that's brilliant. It's brilliant. Just a little bit more he needed on that, but.
Lucky, but that was a much better shot than it looked.
A much better shot.
And he just knew that was going in.
and right, I can confidently say the double doesn't go. Red's in the way.
Please play the double. That was always going in. What a clearance that is.
That was ridiculous. That barely went in the middle pocket. Such an acute angle.
One frame away from a 4th Taom shootout victory out of 6. Whoa! Well, there was frustration and all sorts in that, but he's sunk a yellow. I don't think he'll want to be whitewashed, will he? Well, who does?
Yeah, it wouldn't be good to see. Needs to play
this.
this.
Wriggle on here. Oh, right.
Well, it was a foul either way. But that was tight as to whether or not he did it.
I think that's tiredness. His concentration. I think he forgot it was 15.
Yeah, I think he did. And that's an open table as well for Jordan. So we're trying to get that red out of the way. And now the yellows are begging.
Here we go. Bit of traffic to avoid.
It just makes this game look so easy. Jordan Shepherd. This has been an exhibition.
Well, he's needed 18.5 minutes. Here we go. He's the champion again, and he's a worthy winner. Wonderful, wonderful pull from the Welsh wizard. That was brilliant from Jordan Shepherd. And Fatima Karen had no answer. What a champion.
It was amazing. He's just he's so suited to this event, but it's hard to get away from the fact that that's just how good he is. It's not just about the fact that there's a shot clock and he plays quickly and it plays into his hands or plays to his strengths. He's just that good anyway. You know, and we saw everything you need to know about Jordan Shepherd and why he is so dominant in this event, from that semi-final against Craig Lakin when he was 2-0 down, because in the space of about 15 minutes he won 5 frames on the bounce, barring a black off the break, a golden break from Craig Lakin. He won 5 frames and it was flawless pull.
Well, that was Jordan Shepherd getting a win up in Manchester in the Shootout Series, and that's who we've got to look forward to tomorrow. Welcome back to the studio here with Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb, just wrapping up on another fantastic night's pool in the Super Series. Simon, a game between Shaun Storry and Simon Fitzsimmons, which, I mean, it had a little bit of everything, and what it did have was a phenomenal performance in the end from Shaun Storry, who's knocked out the bookies' favourite in this one.
Absolutely, yeah, great performance from Shaun to turn that match around from a position where he was losing it. He lost that first set that he should have won. It looked like he was going to lose the second set, being 4-1 behind, and he was really on the ropes. Somewhere, somehow, he has found his form and he's turned the match around. And actually, the way he finished the match was incredibly strong, and he really just took it away from Simon. Yeah, an incredible record, particularly in the last 3 sets. You know, from a point where he was 4-1 down, he then won 4 frames in a row in the second set, and then won the last 2 sets 5-1 each. Phenomenal form. Absolutely, and when we look at the stats, and you look, there's 13 missed pots to 11, but most of Shaun's missed pots came in the early part of the match, the first set and a half. You know, Simon's was spread out through the whole match, and although Simon won that first set, he would never say he was playing his best ball. He played okay. But once Shaun got himself in front and found his best form, there was only one winner. He was just absolutely running away with it, and you know, he's breaking absolutely brilliantly as well. Yeah, that second set win was one of the finest moments we've seen on the Super Series so far. 4-1 down, about 7 or 8 minutes remaining, and Shaun Storry banks it in with 75 seconds left to go on his final frame to clear up. Fantastic work from him, and it's earned himself, as you can see, a spot in the quarter-finals. We only have one more place to decide, but before we get to that, Shaun Storry taking on Aaron Davies, and that's a good-looking match, because Aaron probably quite understatedly has been one of the finer performers that we've seen so far in the Super Series. It almost sums up Aaron Davies as the way he goes about it. He's a fantastic match play player. What he did at the World Championships, making it through to the final, sort of almost, you know, put himself on the world stage. But he showed in the first round here in this format of the game that he is more than capable of mixing it with the very, very best. And you know, that's going to be a cracking matchup. Both players have played well. We have one more game in round 1 to bring you. As you can see, it is Mason Penny against Jordan Shepherd. That game for you is tomorrow. Join us at 6 o'clock sharp, same place, same time, for Jordan Shepherd against Mason Penny. Jordan has produced many fantastic shootout performances. Another one here will take him into the quarterfinals. But Mason Penny, not to be underestimated in that one. Coming up for you on Free Sports next, we've got a game in La Liga for you between Real Valladolid and Levante as 11th takes on 14th in La Liga. That game is live for you next. But from myself and from Simon here in the West Midlands, we've enjoyed your company tonight. We look forward to joining you for the conclusion of the round of 16 tomorrow. Good night.
Too fast, too fly, too flaunty, too gas, too high, yeah, we on it. We go wherever the crew going. I'm ready, so tell me who want it.
This program is brought to you by Taom Billiards.